Before you start this assignment, you should have already started your TV news script by typing the transcript of your sound bites and listing the names, titles, and affiliations of the people talking. Refer to the previous video for complete details. Your script should now look something like this one. The name of the speaker and an exact transcript of what they said in the audio column, and over in the video column, their name, title, and affiliation spelled correctly. Now it's time to complete your script by writing the reporter track. Remember that connecting the Sots handout? It looks like this. Remember, Sots is just another way of saying sound bites. Now it's time to connect the Sots. The bottom of the handout explains it. The space before and after each Sot, remember that's a sound bite, is probably in need of a sentence or two of reporter track to provide context. Simply write what is needed between these Sots to complete the story. Some Sots may be butted together, while others are connected with a sentence or two of track. Let's review another paragraph before we continue. Recycle unused Sots. Remember, great objective information, things like statistics, facts, may be contained in Sots that don't make the cut. Remember, Sots are sound bites. This information makes great material for your reporter track, which should be objective. Now, the reporter track is just what the reporter is going to be saying to help tell the story. And that's what you're going to be writing now. So let's get back to the script. Look in the audio column at the first reporter row, this one here. This is the start of your story, which is called a lead. You need to get your audience's attention and give them an idea of what your story will be about. Think of it as the first sentence of an essay. So in here, you're going to type the lead for your story after you get rid of this sentence from the template. So I'm just going to highlight this and delete it out. Okay. Now, since my story is about what students think about our school, my lead is this. Media College Prep High School in Oakland is not like other schools. It features the Media Academy that prepares students for careers in radio, television, print, and online journalism. After you've written your story's lead, review the sound bites that follow it in your script to make sure it makes sense. So I'm going to go through these sound bites here. Notice I have several of them that are butted together. When you're satisfied, go to the next reporter row that needs a sentence or two of track. Here's mine right here. Think about what the sound bites before and after the space are talking about. In my case, students talk about how our school is different. Then after this place, for the reporter track, they talk about their favorite teachers. Based upon that, this is what I've written for my reporter track. Because Media College Prep is small, many students build close relationships with some of their teachers. When you're satisfied that this part of your reporter track will help tell your story, go to the next reporter row that needs a sentence or two. In my story, students have just talked about their favorite teachers, and the next students will talk about their favorite classes. So here is the reporter track that I've written to bridge the two groups of sound bites. It's not just the teachers that students like about Media College Prep. Well, I'm almost done with my story. I have one more bridge to fill between soundbite groups, though. So I'm going to go down, find that spot. Here's what I've written for the reporter track. The school and the Media Academy make its students college ready and workplace prepared. Now that's information I've gotten about the school from the school website. For your story, you may find facts from someplace else, including those unused sound bites. I'm just about done. Now to end your story, you should have a short conclusion before you say the standard Tiger News sign-off. This is the Tiger News sign-off from Media College Prep High School in Oakland. This is, you'll put your name in here for Tiger News. Here's how I've decided to end my story. Located on the former Fremont High School campus, this small school has a lot to offer. From Media College Prep High School in Oakland, this is Mr. Yako for Tiger News. Now, remember to save your script as you go to make sure you don't lose any of your work. So I'll just go up here to the File menu and choose Save. When you're done writing the entire reporter track for your script, go back to the beginning and read the entire audio column. As you read through it, ask yourself, does this tell the story I want to tell? Do I think it will be interesting for an audience? Is there anything I can change to improve it? When you're satisfied that you've done your very best, save your script, and now focus your attention in the video column. Start in the first row and delete this template sentence. Next, describe what video you would like to see while the reporter track is being read. This should not be a picture of the reporter. This should be something that visually supports what the reporter is saying. It can be as simple as this: students recording in the radio studio. For each of your sound bites, you should have already identified the speaker's name, title, and affiliation. Remember, I don't have the affiliation because all of these students go to Media Academy, and therefore I'm not going to put the school name next to them. But if you have people from different organizations, you should have their affiliation next to their title. Now this is all I need to describe because we're going to be seeing the person talking, and we're just going to have a text graphic that shows who they are. So that's all you need next to each of the sound bites. It's just their name, their title, and if necessary, their affiliation. Now, for each video column row next to some of your reporter track, you need to briefly describe what will help illustrate what the reporter is saying. So I'm going to go down to my next one here, and this is what I've come up with for this one. Students in a typical class. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to move down now to my next reporter track. Click in there, and I'll write something different. Teacher helping a student. Okay, let's see what I've got left here. I've got one more to fill in. Students working on computers. Now, there's an exception here as I go down to the end of my script. I've got a conclusion, so while that conclusion's being read, I'm going to have some more footage that kind of illustrates what I'm talking about. In this case, I'm going to say students videotaping, because I think that's one of the things that really makes our school different from other schools. Now, here's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to cover up the reporter at the very end, because at the very end where they do the sign-off, this is going to be where we're going to actually see the reporter. So here's how to indicate that. Go ahead and type your name, and underneath that put Tiger News, right next to where it says, from Media College Prep High School in Oakland, this is your name for Tiger News. Now, when you finish, remember to save your script and print it out and review it with the teacher. Make any necessary corrections or changes, and then you're ready to record your reporter track to finish your news story.